The sun was bleeding orange across the Wyoming sky when Elena first saw him. She'd been stranded on the dirt shoulder of Highway 191 for 2 hours, hood up on her rented SUV. Phone dead, no bars, no clue. Dust devils spun across the empty plain like ghosts looking for a fight. She was 29. Fresh out of a Manhattan divorce, and had driven west, chasing some half-baked idea that wide spaces could fix a narrow heart. Then came the rumble of a diesel engine. A battered black Ford slid to a stop behind her, and the man who stepped out looked like he'd been carved from the same rock as the Tetons. Faded Wrangler, sweat-stained Stetson, pulled low, shoulders wide enough to block the wind. He didn't smile, didn't ask permission, just walked straight past her to peer under the hood. "Alternator shot," he said, voice low and flat like he was stating the weather. "You're not driven this thing another inch." Elena crossed her arms. "City. I'll wait for a tow. Tow trucks in Jackson. That's 60 miles. Be tomorrow before he gets here." He wiped his hands on a red rag that had once been white. "You're comin' with me." She laughed, sharp and defensive. "I don't even know your name." "Cash Rowan." He slammed the hood. "And, lady, out here, the rules you're used to don't mean a damn thing. Sun drops, temperature drops, 30 degrees. Coyotes get curious. You stay, you freeze, or you become dinner. Your choice." Something in the way he said it, not a plea, not a command, just fact made her stomach flip. Men in New York asked, negotiated, performed. This one simply decided, like the land had trained him to. She grabbed her purse and the small duffel from the back seat. Cash didn't offer to carry them. He just opened the passenger door of his truck and waited. She climbed in. The cab smelled of leather, coffee, and something faintly sweet, like fresh-cut hay. An old border collie raised its head from the back seat, gave her one polite wag, then went back to sleep. They drove in silence for 20 minutes, sagebrush rolling past like a gray-green ocean. Finally, Elena spoke. "So what, you just pick up every broken-down woman on the highway?" "Only the ones dumb enough to wear heels in cattle country." Glanced at her ankle boots, city leather already scuffed with Wyoming dust. The corner of his mouth twitched. Almost a smile. She felt heat crawl up her neck. "I'm not dumb. Recalibrating." "Recalibrating," he repeated, tasting the word. "That what they call running away, back east." The jab landed harder than it should have. She looked out the window so he wouldn't see her blink fast. Maybe. The ranch road was nothing more than 2 ruts through the grass. Cottonwoods appeared. Then a low log house with a wide porch. Barns, the color of dried blood. Corrals where horses watched them with dark, liquid eyes. The place looked like it had grown straight out of the ground 100 years ago and refused to leave. Cash killed the engine. Guest rooms clean. Sheets are clean. You want a shower? Water's hot. You want to call someone? Landlines inside. Cell service comes and goes. With the mood of the mountains, Elena stepped onto the porch and felt the silence hit her like deep water. No sirens, no horns, no subway rumble underfoot. Just wind and the far-off low of cattle. Inside, the house surprised her. Rough beams. Yes, but books stacked everywhere. Louis L'Amour mixed with veterinary manuals and, for some reason, Jane Austen. A fireplace big enough to stand in. Photographs on the mantel. Cash, younger, arm around an older man who had to be his father. Cash in, dress blues. Desert sand behind him. Cash holding a newborn foal like it was made of glass. He caught her, staring. Coffee or whiskey? But another almost smile. He poured 2 fingers of bourbon into a jelly jar, and the October started coffee anyway. Night fell hard. Stars crowded the black like someone had spilled salt across velvet. They ate steak he grilled over cottonwood coals. Potatoes wrapped in foil. Nothing fancy. Conversation stayed light until it didn't. My ex said real men don't exist anymore, she blurted after the second whiskey. Said chivalry was a marketing trick. Cash turned to meat, sparks flying up into the dark. Your ex sounds like a man who never had to pull a cough in a blizzard at 3 a.m. with but a headlamp and a prayer. Chivalry ain't dead. It just don't wear a suit. She studied the hard lines of his profile against the firelight. So what does it wear? Scars, he said simply. And it don't ask permission to keep you alive. Later, when the fire burned low and the dogs snored at their feet, he walked her to the guest room. Stopped at the door. You're safe here, Elena. His voice was softer than she'd heard it yet. Tomorrow we'll get your car fixed. Day after, if you still want to keep running, I'll drive you to the airport myself. But tonight you sleep under my roof, which means nobody touches you. Not trouble, not ghosts, not even your own bad memories. That's the rule. She swallowed. And if I don't want to run anymore? Cash looked at her for a long moment. Then he reached out, slow enough she could have stepped back, and brushed a strand of hair from her cheek with knuckles rough as pine bark. Then you stay, he said, and we figure out the rest when the sun comes up. Out here. That's soon enough. He left her at the door. She listened to his bootsteps fade down the hall, heard the quiet click of his own bedroom door. For the first time in months, Elena didn't cry herself to sleep. She listened to the wind move across the prairie.